The estate agent, Pat, drove me out to the beach house. It was close to the sea, a 40-minute walk from the center of Provincetown, almost in the neighboring town of Truro. In fact, it was a plain wooden house, split into four different apartments. Mine was to the bottom left. I asked Pat to remove the modem, in case, in some fit of madness, I went and bought an internet connected device and to cut off all the cable packages on the television. I had two rooms. Beyond the house, there was a short gravel path, and at the end of it, waiting for me, was the ocean, vast and open and warm. Pat bid me good luck, and I was alone. I unpacked my books and began to flick through them. I couldn't get any traction with the one I picked up. I left it aside and walked over towards the ocean. It was early in the Provincetown season, and there were only around 6 other people that I could see for any direction stretching for miles. I felt then a sudden certainty. You only get these feelings a few times in a lifetime, that I had done absolutely the right thing. For so long I had been fixing my gaze on things that were very fast and very temporary, like a Twitter feed. When you fix your gaze on the speedy, you feel pensive, amped up, liable to be washed away if you don't move, wave, shout. Now I found myself staring at something very old and very permanent. This ocean was here long before you, I thought, and it will be there long after your small concerns are forgotten. Twitter makes you feel that the whole world is obsessed with you and your little ego. It loves you, it hates you, it's talking about you right now. The ocean makes you feel like the world is greeting you with a soft, wet, welcoming indifference. It's never going to argue back, no matter how loud you yell. I stood there for a long time. There was something shocking to me about being so still, to be not scrolling, but static. I tried to remember the last time I had felt like this. I walked down towards Provincetown through the ocean with my jeans rolled up. The water was warm and my feet sank a little into the sand. Little fish swam past and around my pastel white legs. I watched crabs burrow into the sand ahead of me. Then, after about 15 minutes, I saw something so strange that I kept staring at it, and the more I stared, the more confused I became. There was a man standing on the water out in the middle of the ocean. He was not on a boat, nor on any floating device I could see, but he was far out at sea, and he was standing tall and firm. I wondered if, in my exhaustion, I had somehow begun to hallucinate. I waved to him. He waved back, and then he turned away and stood with his palms out, facing the water. He stood there for a long time, and I stood there just as long, watching him. Then he began to walk towards me, seemingly on top of the ocean. He saw my puzzled expression, explained to me that when the tide comes in Provincetown, it covers the beach. But what you can't see is that the sand beneath the water is uneven. Beneath its surface, there are sandbars and islands of raised sand, and if you walk along them, it gives the peculiar impression to anyone watching that you are walking on water. I would see this man often after that, as the weeks and months passed, standing out in the Atlantic, his palms facing outwards, still and unmoving for hours, that I thought to myself, is the opposite of Facebook, standing perfectly still, looking out towards the ocean with your palms open. Eventually, I came to my friend Andrew's house. One of his dogs ran to greet me. We strolled down to have dinner together. Andrew had been on a long silent retreat the year before. No phone, no talking, and he told me to enjoy this sense of bliss because it wouldn't last long. It's when you set aside your distractions, he said, that you begin to see what you were distracting yourself from. Oh, Andrew, you are such a drama queen, I said, and we both laughed. Later, I walked down Commercial Street, past the library and the town hall and the Ace Monument and the cupcake store and the drag queens handing out flyers for their shows that night until I heard some singing. In a pub, the Crown and Anchor, people were gathered around the piano singing show tunes. I went in, together with these strangers. We covered most of the soundtrack of Evita and Rent. I was struck again by a big difference between standing in a group of strangers singing with them and interacting with groups of strangers through screens. The first deserves your sense of ego. The second, Jeff and Polk said it. The last song we sang was A Whole New World. I walked back to the beach house alone at 2 a.m. I thought about the difference between the glowing blue light I had spent so much of my life staring at, which keeps you always alert, and the natural light that had faded all around me, which seemed to say, "The day is over, rest now." The beach house was empty. There were no texts or voice messages or emails waiting for me. Or if there were, I wouldn't know for 3 months. I climbed into bed and I fell into the deepest sleep I could remember. I didn't wake up until 15 hours later.